Will the defendant please rise? Rayshawn's heart raced as he stood up from his seat to find out his fate. Once he and his lawyers were on their feet, the judge turned to the jury and asked them to read the verdict. In the case of State of Ohio versus Rayshawn Arnold, we, the jury, found the defendant to be guilty of murder in the first degree. The verdict caused Rayshawn's lawyers to flop down in their chairs in disbelief. Rayshawn's mother could be heard sobbing loudly right behind him. A chain of chatter was starting to spread throughout the courtroom, which caused the judge to bam his gavel. Order! Order in my court! Rayshawn stood there motionless as the reading of the verdict played repeatedly in his head. Guilty of murder in the first degree. Guilty of murder in the first degree. Guilty of murder in the first degree. Just as the bailiff approached Rayshawn and prepared to place handcuffs on him, Rayshawn snapped out of his trance. The bailiff had time enough to put one cuff on him before he snatched away from the small elderly bailiff. The bailiff struggled with him, but Rayshawn pushed him to the ground and made a mad dash for freedom. Stop! Stop or I'll shoot, the bailiff shouted. However, Rayshawn continued to run for the door. He heard the click-clack of the bailiff's gun, letting him know that the bailiff had chambered a round. The aisle leading to the courtroom exit seemed to grow further and further with every step that Rayshawn took. He peered over his shoulder to see the bailiff had aimed at the back of his head, then squeezed off 3 rounds. Just as the fire leapt from the barrel of the 9mm, Rayshawn felt the burn from the lead. He fell to the floor but continued to crawl and pull his body towards the door. Finally, after a long struggle to reach the exit, he was there. As he reached up for the door, it swung open, and another bailiff stood towering over him, aiming a 12-gauge shotgun directly into his face. He cocked the pump of the large weapon and began to speak. For the crime of murder in the first degree, I hereby sentence you to death. Rayshawn tried to shield his face just as the big flash jumped from the man's gun. Ah! Rayshawn yelled as he woke up from his horrible nightmare, sweat-soaked and pleased to realize that this was just another bad dream. He reached for the ashtray that sat on the nightstand. Then he replayed the dream in his head as he sparked a half-smoked Swisher Sweet that was filled with bubble kush. Damn, that was some bullshit, he said, speaking of the dream, and took a hard drag of the potent weed. He then looked up to the ceiling and began to blow out smoke O's. By the time he was blowing out the smoke from his second puff, he was feeling the effects of the good weed. He began to rub the palm of his hand across his face, reflecting back to the dream, and thought about the bailiff towering over him with the 12-gauge. Damn, them bitches was trying to kill a nigga. He spoke aloud to himself as he began to sit up on the bed. He then walked over to the dresser, opened the top left drawer, and got out a fresh pair of socks, boxers, and a white tee. He continued to take puffs of the kush as he made his way to the bathroom. Once inside, he lifted the toilet after he wiped around the bowl's top with a piece of tissue. Rayshawn then looked at himself in the mirror. He was a handsome, tall, dark-skinned 19-year-old. He cracked a smile as he thought about how his mother used to say to him, "Boy, get your ass out of my face looking just like your father." Rayshawn took off his boxers and tee, then turned on the shower. By this time, the kush had done its thing on him. Once he was in the shower, he stood up under the warm water and just let it sprinkle on him. After about 10 minutes of standing in one spot, he finally snapped out of his zone and began to lather up with the washcloth. Damn, I'm higher than a motherfucker, he said as he began to wash his face. The shower felt good to Rayshawn. He began to rap one of Notorious Big's classics. Hot, slicker than your average. Ray twist cabbage off instinct. Niggas don't think shit stink. He went on and on rapping verses from his favorite songs until he heard the phone ringing. Oh shit, he said as he hurried to turn the shower off. He hopped out and raced to the bedroom where the phone was. Hello? He said into the receiver, trying not to sound out of breath. The soft voice on the other end let him know that it was Tanisha, one of his many girlfriends. But Tanisha was by far his favorite. They met when they were both about 12 years old. Rayshawn's mother and her friend coached the Little League cheerleaders, and Tanisha was one of them. One day on their way to drop the cheerleaders off, they had to stop and pick him up from a friend's. That's how the two met. They exchanged numbers and grew very close. Tanisha was a very pretty little girl at this time. And as time went on, her prettiness turned into pure beauty. Hey, big head, what you over there doing? She said in a very loving tone. Nothing, just got out the shower, he replied and began to towel himself off. He then walked back to the bathroom and began to brush his teeth. Are you coming over here today? Tanisha wanted to know. Yeah, later on, I'm going to get you after I check out a few traps. He answered after he spit Colgate toothpaste into the toilet. No, Ray, I'm not trying to go nowhere. I just want to chill in the house and watch a few movies or something, she said in her best little girl voice. Rayshawn rinsed his mouth out and spit before he replied. Okay, babe, whatever you want to do. But I told you that I got to swing through the slab and check some shit out first. Just as he said that, his line beeped, letting him know that someone was calling on the other line. Hold on real quick, boo, he said. Don't have me on hold long, Rayshawn, Tanisha retorted. Just hold on, he said and quickly clicked over to the other caller. Hello? Nigga, you still in the motherfucking house? The voice shouted on the other end was Rayshawn's best friend, BJ. What's up with your dog ass, nigga? Rayshawn said, happy to hear his friend's voice. You already know, bruh. I'm out here trying to run this paper up. I just rolled past Alcoy and I ain't see your whip out there. So I knew your lazy ass was still in the house, BJ said. Man, fuck you. I was so juiced last night, I came home and had a crazy ass dream, dog. About what? Man, I'm going to tell you later. I got Tanisha on the other end, so let me hit you right back. Dog, fool. Come on, Bracklin. All right, bet. Rayshawn and click. All right, bet. Rayshawn said and clicked back over to Tanisha. Hello? Hello? Nisha. I'm still here. I should have hung up on you, having me on hold all along like you crazy, she said, sounding mad. Chill out, babe. That was BJ. He tried to say, but she cut him off. I don't care who it was. You knew I was on the other end, and she didn't get a chance to finish because Rayshawn cut her off. Here we go with this bullshit. Look, you fucking up my high, and I'm not trying to argue about this petty shit. So if that's what you want, then I'm going to holler at you later. Rayshawn Dwayne Arnold, I just know that you don't think you about to hang this phone up on me, she said. Yes, I am, if you keep trying to play crazy, he responded. Okay, you go ahead with your bad ass, she stated. Rayshawn just sat there holding the phone to his ear. That's what I thought. Now, what time you coming over here, boy? She questioned. Rayshawn couldn't help but laugh as he responded. I told you that I'd be over there later, after I check a few traps. Okay, I'll be here. Just make sure you get here. I love you, Rayshawn. I love you too, baby, he replied, and they disconnected. Ray then grabbed for the Silverman's bag that he had flung off into the corner of his room yesterday afternoon. He dug his hand in and came out with a fresh black Dickie outfit. After he slipped on the pants, he put on his 3-day-old wheat-colored Timberlands. Once he put on and buttoned up his Dickie shirt, he went to his closet to see which fitted cap he was going to wear today. It didn't take long for him to decide as he grabbed the fresh Pittsburgh Pirates hat off of the shelf. He set the fitted ace deuce on his head as only he could, took a quick look in the mirror, then headed for the living room. When he got there, he went into the closet and pulled out the vacuum cleaner. He unzipped the back of it and stuck his hand inside. When he pulled his hand out, he had stacks of bills that was full of hundreds, 50s, and 20s. He shoved the bills into his pocket. Just then, his phone began to buzz. Rayshawn flipped open his phone and began to speak. "What's the damn deal?" he said into the handheld phone. "Ray, what's up, family?" the voice on the other end shot back. "Who is this?" Ray asked, not recognizing the male voice. "Nigga, this your boy Mark," the voice replied. "Mark? Mark who?" Rayshawn asked as he stuck the .380 Glock into the front of his pants and walked out of his front door. "Little man, fam," the voice said. "Oh, what's up with you?" Rayshawn replied, finally realizing who the voice was. "Shit, man, I'm trying to bust a move, but this drives a motherfucker around my way. I know you got that cream, fam. Let's hook up and make something shake," Mark said. "Dog, what the fuck is you talking about? And who the hell gave you this number? Matter of fact, none of that don't even matter. I don't know shit about nothing you talking about, so please don't call my fucking phone no more, you bitch ass nigga." After saying that, Rayshawn hung up his phone, disconnecting the unwanted call. The call clearly made Rayshawn upset. He cussed under his breath as he approached his black 2007 Caddy STS. He hit the chirp, which caused the lights to flash and the doors to unlock. Rayshawn quickly opened the door and plopped down on the soft, buttered red leather seats. All in one motion, he slid the key into the ignition as the lack came to life. Seconds after the car was started, the sounds of UGK jumped from the high-priced system. "Nigga, how you feel? I feel so trill. Might pop me a pill, bitch, I'm working wood wheel." Rayshawn swiftly threw the car into gear and reversed out of the driveway. Reaching the top of Algonac, Rayshawn made a right-hand turn onto Euclid Avenue. The sun rays bounced off of Rayshawn's chrome 22-inch rims as he navigated to his destination. He made another right-hand turn into the Marathon Mini Mart, where he spotted a few young men who looked to be hustlers. He pulled up to one, hit a button and the window began to roll down. "Bouchane, what's up, pimpin'?" Rayshawn said as he leaned his head out of his window. Bouchane walked up to Rayshawn's caddy and they slapped hands through the window. "You already know, a motherfucker out here getting to it," Bouchane said as he scanned the area to make sure no police or vice cars were in sight. "Shit, what is doing out here?" Rayshawn asked. "It's doing what it do, Buster. Go ahead, park," Bouchane said, letting Rayshawn know the block was jumping. "No, I gotta go make this run real quick. I'll be back later though. If you see T, tell that nigga to call my phone. Oh, and that nigga Lil Man fishy. Be careful if you see that nigga," Rayshawn said. "Lil Man? Lil Man who?" Bouchane questioned. "The hoe ass nigga that be with Spud and them," Rayshawn replied. "Oh, okay, what that nigga do?" Bouchane wanted to know. "Man, that nigga called my phone talking about it's dry and he know I got some cream, so let's hook up and make something shake." Rayshawn repeated the words that Lil Man said to him earlier. "Damn," was all Bouchane could say. Right. And what make it worse is I ain't never sold that nigga or showed that nigga shit. I don't even know how he got my phone number. His bitch ass tried to set me up for the jack, or he tried to get me put down by them people, Rayshawn said as he grew angry all over again. Man, when I see that nigga, I'm fucking him up, he added. Hey, look, man, I'ma swing back in about 2 hours so we can blow a few bats. Where you gonna be at? Rayshawn asked Bouchane. Man, ain't no telling. I gotta go to Peacocks and get my shit. You know I done put some candy on the Skylark and got that bitch up on 6s. I'm about to hit the streets and tear it up. Bouchane spoke as he rubbed his hands together thinking about his car sitting in Peacock's detail shop. What color is your shit? Rayshawn asked with a smile on his face. You will see later, Bouchane answered, wanting to make it a surprise. All right, bruh, I'll see you later, Rayshawn said and smashed on the gas, peeling out of the Mini Mart's driveway. Just as fast as he hit Euclid Avenue again, he was making a left turn on Alcoy. He saw a few of the neighborhood fiends as he drove down the street. They tried flagging Rayshawn down, but he continued to his route. Halfway up the street, he made a left-hand turn into the Alcoy Terrace parking lot. He quickly parked and was out of his caddy before any of the drug addicts were close to him. Nephew, a fiend named Slim shouted as he raced around the corner trying to be the first one to greet Rayshawn. Slim, what's up with your motherfucking ass? Rayshawn replied as he looked from the dusty fiend to both ends of the street. You know ain't nothing to it, nephew. Let me run you a few customers for a little chip shot. You know how we do, Slim said as he fidgeted in his empty pockets. Nah, Slim, I ain't doing nothing right now, but later on I'ma need you, Rayshawn said as he dug in his pocket and came out with a $20 bill. He handed it to Slim. Man, have your ass around here when I get back later, Slim. Don't be bullshitting either, Rayshawn said as he pointed a finger at Slim. Oh, come on, nephew. You always taking care of me. You know I ain't gonna fuck you over. I'll be out here ready to work for you just like always. All right, man, I'll see your ass later, Rayshawn said as he turned away from Slim, then headed for the apartment stairs. He took the stairs 2 at a time until he was all the way to the top. Once he stepped to the door, he began to knock. Who is it? A female's voice shouted from the other side of the door. It's Ray, he replied. Seconds after he said his name, the locks were off of the door and the door was open. A fat, black, ugly female stepped to the side and let Rayshawn come in. Hey, Ray, she said. What's up, Dottie? He replied and kept walking into the living room. Once inside, he saw one of his girlfriends, Nene, sitting on the couch watching music videos. But he did not light up until he saw the little 7-month-old Asia crawl from around the love seat. As soon as she saw Rayshawn, she dropped her little toy, let out a small scream, put her head down and began crawling to him as fast as her hands and knees could get her there. Rayshawn smiled as he watched her make her way to him. Once she was at his feet, he picked her up. Kiss, kiss, he said to her as she puckered up, grabbed the side of his face with both of her little hands and planted a kiss on Rayshawn's lips. After that, she laid her head on his chest and he walked over to where Nene was sitting. What's up, baby? He said, sitting next to Nene. She leaned over and gave Rayshawn a nice kiss before she responded. Nothing. I'm just sitting here watching TV. I was wondering if you was going to come over today, she said as she picked a lint ball off of Rayshawn's shirt. You already know I was coming over. I had to see my baby, he said, lifting Asia into the air, causing her to laugh out loud. Although Asia wasn't his real daughter, Rayshawn loved her like she was. He was around her and did so much for her that she thought that he was her daddy. The only reason Rayshawn still messed around with Nene was because of the simple fact that he had fallen head over heels for little baby Asia. How come you ain't called me back last night? Nene questioned. Shit, I was out of my body last night. I don't even know how I made it home last night, let alone why I ain't call you back, Rayshawn responded as he and Asia played patty cake. Damn, baby, you smell like you done shitted on yourself, he said to Asia as he smelled her diaper. Yes, you did. You poo-poo and you diaper, Rayshawn spoke in his baby voice, causing Asia to giggle so hard that slobber came out of her mouth. Rayshawn continued to talk in his little baby voice. My little baby stinky. Yes, you are. You stinky, he continued as he took her to the bathroom, washed her, and changed her diaper. He then went into the kitchen and made her a fresh bottle, gave it to her, then rocked her to sleep. Once she was asleep, he laid her on the love seat, then went and sat beside Nene on the couch. He began feeling on her breast as he leaned in for a passionate kiss. They both moaned as he began to slip his hand down into her shorts. Once he reached her pearl tongue, she pressed away from him. Stop, Ray. You know Dottie fat ass is right in the other room. She gonna walk in on us, Nene said with a smile on her face. Fuck Dottie's fat ass, Rayshawn said and began kissing Nene and trying to play with her pussy again. No, boy. Please don't do me like this, Nene pleaded. Look, let's go in your room then, Rayshawn said as he adjusted his swollen man in his pants so that it wasn't pressing up against the pants. Nope, you should have came over last night, Nene said, crossing her arms. Come on, babe, stop playing. I'm horny as fuck. You sitting here looking all good, and you ain't gonna give me none? Rayshawn was close to begging, but he ain't mine, especially if it was gonna get him some. You so cute when you beg, she said with a smile on her face. She gave Rayshawn a quick kiss, then spoke again. Okay, let me freshen up a little first, okay? Baby, you cool like that, Rayshawn said, not wanting to wait any longer. No, boy, I'll be back in a minute, she said and got off the couch and walked towards the bathroom. Rayshawn sat and watched as she put an extra twist in her well-shaped hips as she strolled off. Nene was 5'5", red bone, with a very pretty face and thicker than the morning fog in London. Rayshawn had also met her when they were young. They stopped speaking once they got in the 9th grade because she started going out with Asia's real father, who was much older than Nene. He beat on her until her self-esteem was no longer. Now she felt like if a man didn't beat her up every now and then, that meant he ain't care about her. Rayshawn and Nene had not seen each other in years until Nene moved on Alcoy with her friend named Dottie. At first, Rayshawn thought it was just going to be a good duck-off spot, but he met Asia and pushed that idea to the back. A knock was heard at the back door. Could you get that, Ray? Dottie shouted from her room. Ray got up and walked to the door. Who is it? He said. It's Derek, a male's voice said from outside. Rayshawn opened the door to see Dottie's boyfriend standing there with all 4 of Dottie's kids, ranging from 1 to 5 years old. Hey, Uncle Ray, they all seemed to say at the same time as they raced past him into the house. Seeing all of Dottie's wild-ass kids instantly made Rayshawn tired. Oh, y'all little motherfuckers better not wake up Asia. I just put her to sleep, he said, but it was too late because Asia woke up and was fussing already. Damn, he said as he spotted Nene coming out of the bathroom with her hair down and robe on. They made eye contact and he went to pick up Asia and calm her down. Here, give her to me, Nene said, taking Asia from his arms. Seeing that he wasn't about to get no pussy due to the 4 little cock blockers that was running all over the house, Rayshawn began to speak. Look, I'm gonna go fuck with BJ for a minute. I'll be back later on tonight, okay? Are you sure? Nene asked. Sure about what? Ray questioned. About you coming back later, she stated. Just then, Rayshawn remembered that he told Tanisha that he was coming over. Damn, I forgot I was supposed to ride to Detroit tonight. He lied as he checked the number that was buzzing in his cell phone. Detroit? Who you going there with? She asked as she placed one hand on her hip and shifted her weight to one leg. Me, BJ, Poop, and Dre, he replied as he answered his phone. What's up? No, I'm on the block. I'll be through there in a minute. Rayshawn made the call quick and hung up his phone. Who was that? Nene asked. What the fuck is you on? All these questions ain't about nothing. I'll see you later, he said as he headed for the door. Yeah, whatever, Rayshawn, she said, knowing that it was nothing she could do to make him put his hands on her, to show her the kind of love that she was used to. Rayshawn hurried down the steps, clearing 3 at a time. He hit the chirp on the Cadillac and hopped in. He slipped the key into the ignition of the lack, and it began to purr. Seconds later, Gucci Mane was heard coming from the system. I'm a street nigga, dog. I'm a street nigga, dog. You a street nigga just like me. I'm a street nigga, dog. I'm a street nigga, dog. No industry, I'm in these streets.